Welcome back to Viking Recreation Center in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. We have arrived at the quarterfinal match in the Pro Series Ultimate Ladder tournament. And in this match, Chris Sacchetti, who is fresh off a win over Jim Ayotte in the preliminary match of the Ultimate Ladder, top ladder, will take on the number 3 seed, Jeff Slesinski. And Jeff finishes warming up on lane 5, so Chris Sacchetti will start the match on lane 6. Chris, as you recall, was the top qualifier in the 3-string qualifying round of this tournament with 392, and that gave him top seed status in the ladder that he was assigned. So he only had to bowl one match in that ladder, and that was against Corey Packard, who had worked his way past yours truly and a couple of other opponents. Anyway, Chris is looking at, wow, tough break there. He had 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10, and he gave it threw a nice ball in between the 3 and 6, but the 9 pin wouldn't go. So that'll be a 9 to start for Chris Sacchetti. Meanwhile, Chris's opponent, Jeff Slesinski, had to work his way up through 4 matches in his ladder. So that's why in this tournament it's important to qualify as high as possible. It's not just making the cut, because the higher you qualify, the fewer matches you have to bowl. And there's a great shot by Chris Sacchetti. Let's take a look at this in slow motion. He takes out the big 5, and that's just a terrific shot. Cuts the 3 over into the 4-7. So here's Jeff Slesinski. Jeff, as you know, is a regular on the Western New England Candlepin Association Tour. Wow, and look at that. He hits the 1-3 pocket and leaves 5, 7, 10, no wood. I started to say that Jeff is a regular on the Western New England Tour. That's a tour that visits each one of the houses in the Western New England Candlepin Association. The tournaments are always the first Sunday of the month, starting in October. And I think they skip January. There are 6 tournaments in all. So Jeff starts with a 7 and then moves over to lane 5. And he drops 8, or is it gonna, yeah, it's gonna be 8, leaving it 2 and 4. Pretty straightforward 2-pinner, but it's gotta be hit. And he's got it. Spare in the second for Jeff Slesinski. Chris Sacchetti will fill the spare that he threw in the second frame, and he goes out on the quarter but gets a pretty good break. Drops 8 as it turns out, and he's got the 1 and the 4, a piece of wood behind the head pin that might guide it over towards the 4. Wow, but as it turns out, it went right around the 4. And that'll be a 9. You don't want to leave too many pins on the deck in these close matches. But as you get later in the day, it's sometimes you get tired and it's hard to clean up. And Chris with a nice ball, but again he has a split. 3, 4, and 6. This time no wood to help. can see what the problem was there. He got the 3 and 6, but nothing went over to get the 4. Would have had to cut it thin, as he did in the second box. And that'll be another 9 box for Chris Sacchetti. He's got 45 through the 4th. Jeff Slesinski working on the spare that he recorded in the second. And he drops 5. Really difficult spare. 1, 2, 4, 9, and 10 with no wood. And he misses the head pin, but ends up getting everything except the 1, so not too bad. He can gain a pin on Chris Sacchetti by making this for a 10, and he does. So through 3, Chris Sacchetti leads Jeff Slesinski by 4. We've had a couple of these low-scoring but close matches. Actually, a number of them in some of the preliminary ladders. There were a lot of very close matches. Jeff with a little bit of a pitch out on the first ball, but he makes a nice bid on that 3 drop. He gets everything except the 10 pin. For some reason the corner pin wouldn't carry. Jeff throws a little bit of a fade. That's a 9. So as you can see, Chris Sacchetti still leads by 4 through the 4th. Chris punches through the middle on the first ball. Breaks down the left side of that spread eagle with the exception of the 2 pin. So this is still a very difficult spare. And certainly if you throw the same ball, it's not going to work. So Chris will be open again in the 5th. He'll be trying to get as much pin count as he can, and it'll be an 8. Chris with 53 through 5. And once again, 3rd straight time that Chris has had a split on lane 5. This time it's the 2-4-6. A piece of wood behind the 6 that might conceivably give him some help, but it's not going to be. Well, and he hit the 2 pretty full, so he wasn't able to bring that other piece of wood into play. So Chris will be open in the 6th. It'll be a 10. Again, the door is left open if Jeff Slesinski can put some marks on the board. Jeff with another 1-2 pocket hit. And as you can see, he defeated Steve Latch, Brandon Marks, Jonathan McDonald, and Peter Pereira in his preliminary ladder to get to this point. But that spare doesn't go, so Jeff will be open in the 5th. He's got a 10. And that gains 2 pins, so he trails by just 2 at this point. 53 to 51. And Jeff with just 3, taking out the 2, 4, and 8. This is another Very difficult spare. And he throws the same ball he just threw, so he needs an out here. And so that's going to be a 7 box for Jeff Slesinski. Taking a look at the score, through 6. Chris Sacchetti is up by 5. Still anyone's game, obviously. And Chris punches out the spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. He'll just be trying to work this out. Wow, he gives it a nice bid, cuts the 3 over into the 4. Pretty good run at it. But the spread eagle is one of the most difficult leaves that we face. And that'll be an 8 box for Chris. 71 through 7. And a nice ball by Chris Sacchetti, 1-2 pocket, but not much to show for it. He's got the 5, 7, 8 with no wood. Really difficult split. And you can see what he was trying to do, try to kick the 5 into the 8 and then into the 7. That's pretty much the only way to make that shot. But he's not able to do it, and he just clips the 5 pin. So that's a pair of 8 boxes for Chris Sacchetti. Again, the door is wide open for Jeff Slesinski. He trails by 5, but he could reduce that. He could take the lead with a mark. And Jeff drops 6, leaving the 4 horsemen left side, 1, 2, 4, 7. Nice piece of wood in front of the 4, 7. That'll prevent the 7 pin from being left if he should hit it. And he's got it. Nice conversion by Jeff Slesinski. Spare in the 7th. So he can take the lead if he gets more than 3. He's got 68 with the ball working, and Chris Sacchetti 71. But just a 1 drop on the spare. That's very costly right there. Jeff throws a pitch out and just punches out the 4 pin. So he'll be trying to work this out for a 10 if at all possible. And, well, he's still got 3 pins remaining. 1, 2, and 8. So he does not take the lead. Still going to be a very close match going down to the last 2. 8 box by Jeff Slesinski. So going down to the last 2 boxes, Chris Sacchetti still leads by 2 pins. Pretty much anyone's game, but no one seems to want it at this point. Chris with a 3 drop. Missed the head pin and just took out the 3, 6, and 9. Piece of wood in front of the 10 pin that'll help if he, but he wasn't able to get that going. So again, it will be an open box for Chris Sacchetti in the 9th. It'll be a 9. Chris has 88 through 9. So he wants to get at least 10 in the last box, because that would force Jeff Slesinski to throw a mark. Jeff having 77, Chris with 88. And there is at least 10. That's 10 with 1 ball. Let's have a look at this strike. High flush in the 1-3 pocket. Really nice ball by Chris Sacchetti. Let's see what Chris can do with the fill. He has got, can't really see, he's got 6. 4 horsemen left side. So he wants to, if he can take all 4 of these, this would force Jeff Slesinski to throw 2 marks. And not quite, he only got 9. So that means that Jeff is going to need 30 pins in his last 2 boxes to tie the match, 31 to win. So that means he doesn't absolutely have to have a mark in the 9th, but he could certainly use it. And that's a good ball by Jeff. 1-2 pocket. He's looking at the 3, 5, 6, and 10. A makeable spare, but not an easy one. And Jeff goes by the 3-pin, taking out the 6, 10. So this 2-pinner here is very important, because if he doesn't convert the 10 box, then he would need a double in the 10th. But he does. So Jeff has 87 through 9. Chris Sacchetti with 107, so Jeff needs a 20 box to tie. Obviously a double strike to win. But once again, Jeff throws the ball to the left and punches out that 4-pin. So now he's going to have to clear the deck twice in a row to tie this match and force a playoff. And it's not going to happen this time. So Chris Sacchetti is going to move on to the next round in this ladder, and he will face Richie Myrick, the number 2 seed. So Jeff Slesinski with a 9 box, he ends up with a 96. He will finish 4th in this event, and Chris Sacchetti will move on to the next round.